have a person of substance, a well-known social work educator, Professor Mohd Shahid from Maulana Azad National Urdu University, Hyderabad. He is in our studio to our program In Conversation With. And you know, friends, that in Conversation With program, we discuss the current issues of social work, education and profession. Professor Shahid, a graduate from Aligarh Muslim University, he taught in University of Delhi and then he moved to the Manu, Hyderabad, has a long experience. And he is a critical thinker and one who puts the things straight in social work education. So welcome, Professor Shahid.
Sir, thank you. Sir, thank you very much. It's my privilege that you have invited me. It's an honor for me. Thank you.
So you know that Social Work Herald is a very new initiative. And in this initiative, we discuss the issues in and around social work. My first question to you as a critical thinker is about the definition of professional social work. If you look at the historically, from Clifford to A.G. Khair, from 1936 to 1960, there were many people who have given the definition of social work.
Right.
Later on, one definition by Professor Mirza Ahmed, he has also tried to define the social work. But we have not made many efforts for many years. And that gap sometimes reflects on our sincerity. How do you take this? And of late, NAPSWI has brought a definition in 2018. And that definition reflects, you must have seen that.
Yeah.
So I would like to invite your comment and critical analysis that today how we should define professional social work from welfare to well-being and what should be our approach in time to come.
Sir, let me begin with again, thanking you for always taking a new nuances of social work. This program is one of like those efforts. And the question is also in that context. We have come up many definitions of social work, but I again thank you because you have compiled almost all those definitions that have moved over the years right from the beginning, like you said Clifford Manchard, moving on to Nanavati Saab, moving on to more latest to Braj Mohan, H.Y. Siddiqui, Mirza Saab, you said. But you made a wonderful thing of compiling all those definitions, coming up with a very critical paper. And I think a real value addition is this NAPSWI definition. And the interesting point of this definition is the stress that is given on the constitutional commitment. The constitutional commitment to justice, to equality, to marginalized groups. I think, sir, this is the point we need to take. Probably in the Indian context, we always say that the social work is some kind of new implant, it's something American. I think the very independence of this country gives us an idea. Our constitution is the best example how you can tackle the, how you can decolonize yourself and put forward yourself. And the basic for that is our constitutional commitment, the very preamble of the constitution. By stressing a lot on the constitutional commitment, I think this definition is giving a direction to people like us as a student of social work to now make use of this definition and relook on our profession, our ways of dealing with the groups in the society and what kind of nuances we need to add on to our profession. So I would like to congratulate NAPSWI, and because you are one of those founders of NAPSWI and one of those strong pillars who are giving that much needed energy to run the organizations, because that is again the unfortunate reality. We have seen emergence of many associations in India and very steep decay as well.
Yeah.
So I think you have given a new direction, and I would request through this program with all our friends social workers to look over this definition and let's take up the issues from it and rethink on the not only the concept of social work, but how it is going to gel with the people with whom we work.
Correct. Very well said, Professor Shahid. And this take me to the definition, global definition,
Right.
which says social justice, human rights. So those are covered with our constitution. But there are two more points:
Right.
collective responsibility and diversity.
Right.
So diversity also take care.
Yeah.
Our constitution take
Yeah.
care of diversity.
Yeah.
It is one of the leading constitution. But what about collective responsibility, and how you link it, these four pillars, into today's paradigm or today's context?
See, now we are talking about, the global. We are in a global era.
Right.
We
right.
say we are living in a global village.
Correct.
The current, the 2030 agenda for sustainable development, it is all about collective responsibility. Like the goal says, now these sustainable development goals require efforts of all of us. So collective responsibility is important. And of course, again, this the latest definition by the two our international bodies, IFSW and ISSW. Again, interesting point in the definition is that they have as a value they have stressed on social justice, human rights, collective responsibility, and appreciation diversity. I think we need to take a leap. And if we link that definition to the next definition, against they are probably, it's a kind of a sangam, they are merging at a point where we need to talk about social justice. We not need to talk about appreciating diversity, because unless you appreciate diversity, we develop this value of appreciating diversity, we cannot reach a position of understanding collective responsibility.
Okay, very right. Very
so, because unless we understand diversity, diverse group, the energy that each group of them have, we say marginalized groups, let's say Dalits, let's say minorities, they all have their own wisdom, they have all their own survival strategies.
Correct.
What we are seeing is a problem, they are living with them. Day in, day out, they are negotiating. They have that strength. So unless we appreciate that context, those strengths, the context, we cannot talk about collective responsibility. So I think these two things are fundamentally important in this particular era. So collective responsibility of the fraternity, collective responsibility at the level of institutions.
Correct.
And of course, by virtue of the sustainable development goals, we are talking about now the collective responsibilities at the level of nation states.
Correct.
So all nations have to come together, and like the goal says, partnership of all.
Correct.
So we need to stress a lot on these values, the diversity, justice, human rights, collective responsibility. And since you have referred to that definition, the last thing that I'm really very happy about that definition is it says we have to engage with whom? We have to engage with people and structures. Now, what are these structures? These are not buildings. Which we say as very strong buildings, but the structures in society are more stronger than these concrete walls.
Correct.
And that those niceties we can only understand when we appreciate diversity.
Right.
When we look at it with the lens of justice.
So we have to demolish those barriers.
We have to demolish, and for demolishing barriers, you need to have. You should be in a position to make sense of those barriers.
Correct.
I think our problem is we are failing to make sense of those barriers. And because to make sense of those barriers, we need that sensibility. And again, I will thank you because the NEPSP definition talks about constitution. I think preamble provides us that lens.
Right.
Ambedkar provides us that lens. Gandhi provides us that lens. So that lens, if we can have, then probably we can do a lot, not only with regard to Indian context, but also in other contexts as well.
We can contribute into the global level also,
Sure, sir.
Right. And how you will derive, Professor Shahid, that where we have missed the bus, where we have failed, in translating social work education into practice, it has been predominantly English speaking course. Dominated by English language, but North India have Indian, you might have seen Hindi books in North India, and in the context of the new education policy, which talks of the vernacular promotion of vernacular languages, how do you visualize the future of social work education and training?
To a quick response, I will say language is important. Vernacular languages are important because the language is not simply a language. Language is also an instrument in the operation of power.
Yeah.
So if you understand, so by understanding vernacular languages, by teaching social work in vernacular languages, we are giving people to, understand that flavor. I will just give you an example. I teach at Maulana Azad National Urdu University. Our medium of instruction is Urdu, and probably we are the only national level university that has medium of instruction as Urdu. And I people keep on asking what will they do in Urdu. But I tell you, when I talk to them, when I discuss them social justice in Urdu, in Hindustani, they make more better sense of it. When we talk about the issues of marginalized groups, they make more better sense of it. It means talking to people in their vernacular language, in the native language, it is making a much difference. And I think first understanding of context is important. Understanding of the subject is important. The language will come up. If they need English will also come up. But you need to have a conceptual clarity.
तो आप कहना चाहते हैं कि हिंदी में, कन्नड़ा में, तमिल में?
मैं बिल्कुल सर इस बात को दावे के साथ कह सकता हूं और कहना चाहूंगा कि लोगों को वर्नाकुलर लैंग्वेजेस में बिल्कुल पढ़ाया जाना चाहिए। उन लैंग्वेजेस से उनका क्षमता वर्धन होता है, उनकी समझ बेहतर आती है, और इससे जो सबसे बड़ी चीज है, उन बच्चों को मौका मिलता है, उन छात्रों को, उन तलबा को मौका मिलता है जो शायद बिल्कुल हाशिए पे, मार्जिनलाइज्ड हैं, बिल्कुल मार्जिन पे हैं। जैसे मैं कहूं, आज इस उर्दू यूनिवर्सिटी की वजह से, मीडियम ऑफ इंस्ट्रक्शन की वजह से हमारे पास बहुत बड़ी तादाद उन बच्चों की आ रही है, उन गांवों से आ रही है, उन इलाकों से आ रही है, शायद उनको इन बड़े इदारों में, जिनको कहा जाता तथाकथित बड़े इदारे हैं, उनमें कभी जगह नहीं मिलती। आप मेरिट पे कहते वो नहीं आ रहे हैं। भाई वो बच्चे उन गांवों के बच्चे हैं जहां स्कूल नहीं था, पढ़ लिए, 10वीं 12वीं में वो गए, उनको टीचर्स नहीं मिले। ग्रेजुएशन जिन कॉलेज से किया, उन्होंने सिर्फ रेगुलर मोड में, रेगुलर रहते हुए डिस्टेंस मोड में डिग्री ले ली।
क्या बात है।
तो अगर उनको ये मौका मिल रहा है तो मैं समझता हूँ वो ज्यादा अच्छा होगा।
यस यस यस। साहिब साहब, मुझे कई बार मैं सोचता हूँ कि ऐसे कौन से बड़े मुद्दे हैं जो हमारा प्रोफेशन फेस कर रहा है। मतलब एक दो मुद्दों की बात चाहूंगा आपसे कि हमको कहाँ से शुरुआत कर देनी चाहिए कि हमारा जो पूरा सोशल वर्क का एजुकेशन और ट्रेनिंग है उसकी क्वालिटी इंप्रूव हो।
मैं सर आपके सवाल को थोड़ा सा पिछले सवाल पे ले जाऊंगा, जहां आपने कहा कि क्या हमारी मिस्ड अपॉर्चुनिटीज, व्हाट वी मिस्ड। मुझे कई बार आता, हो सकता है मेरी डे ड्रीमिंग हो, क्योंकि प्रोफेशंस का रिकग्निशन तभी होता है जब जमीन पे लोग देखें, लोग आपको फील करें। सिर्फ एसोसिएशन एक सर्टिफिकेट नहीं है। अमेरिका में जब नेशनल काउंसिल ऑन सोशल वर्क एजुकेशन बनी, उससे पहले अमेरिका में सोशल वर्क ने अपनी धाक जमा ली थी। मैं हिंदी का शब्द धागी इस्तेमाल करना चाहूंगा कि उन्होंने अपनी जमीन पे बना ली थी। वो तो सिर्फ एक सर्टिफिकेट था। मैं समझता हूं हम जमीन पर पकड़ नहीं बना पाए, और उसमें एक मुझे बड़ी जो मिस्ड अपॉर्चुनिटी लगती है कि 1952 में नए नए आजाद हिंदुस्तान में हमने कम्युनिटी डेवलपमेंट प्रोग्राम शुरू किया। मुझे लगता वो सबसे बड़ी हमारे पास बल्क में अपॉर्चुनिटी थी कि सोशल वर्कर्स उसमें होते। मैं सोचता हूं आज डेवलपमेंट ऑफिसर्स की जगह डेवलपमेंट वर्कर्स हो रहे होते, ब्लॉक डेवलपमेंट ऑफिसर साहब ना होकर ब्लॉक डेवलपमेंट वर्कर रहे होते, इसमें सोशल वर्क प्रोफेशनल्स रहे होते, तो शायद आज हिंदुस्तान की शक्ल भी दूसरी होती, गांव की समस्याओं में भी उनको डील करने का तरीका दूसरा होता, और सोशल वर्क जगह जगह पहुंच गया होता। लेकिन मुझे नहीं पता, शायद एक वजह यह है कि सोशल वर्क के जो इदारे हैं, वेरी फ्यू इंस्टीट्यूशंस वर देयर, एंड अमंग दोज इंस्टीट्यूशंस if we make some kind of analysis what kind of students were there, मैं समझता हूं वो ऑडियंस बिल्कुल दूसरी थी। उनके फ्रेम में गांव कहीं नहीं था, बिल्कुल उनके फ्रेम में गरीब कहीं नहीं था। या तो वो पढ़कर फिर अमेरिका गए, वापस आ गए, टीचिंग में आ गए, इंडस्ट्रियल सोशल वर्क, ऑक्यूपेशनल सोशल वर्क ने अपनी जगह बनाई, या HR में चले गए। मुझे लगता वो बड़ी मिस्ड अपॉर्चुनिटी थी, और शायद अगर उधर हम लोग जम गए होते तो ये जमीन हमारी होती। आज समस्या है कि जमीन हमारी खिसक रही है, उसमें दूसरे डिसिप्लिन्स ने अपनी जगह ज्यादा बेहतर बना ली है। दूसरी मिस्ड अपॉर्चुनिटी मैं कहूंगा, जब स्कूल एजुकेशन के हिसाब से 60s-70s में बड़ी बात हुई, SUPW जैसे कंपोनेंट आ गए, मुझे लगता है कि उस जगह सोशल वर्कर्स को अपनी दखल बना लेनी चाहिए थी, जगह बना ली। हालांकि हमारी एसोसिएशन ने कोशिश की, एक स्पेशल मैं समझता हूं पूरी कॉन्फ्रेंस एसोसिएशन ऑफ स्कूल्स ऑफ सोशल वर्क ने की, स्कूल सोशल वर्क के ऊपर एक्सपेरिमेंट भी हुए, लेकिन हम लोग ये नहीं बना पाए पॉलिसी लेवल पर कि हर स्कूल में जो SUPW के लिए है सोशल वर्कर होगा। शायद अगर वो सोशल वर्कर होता तो वो दूसरा नाम दे देता SUPW को। तब हम ये नहीं कहते कोई पर्चा SUPW जैसा था हमारे पास, उसने बच्चों को इलाके से जोड़ दिया होता। और शायद आज एनईपी में जो बात हो रही है,
करेक्ट,
जो मुझे लग रहा अब फिर हमारे पास अपॉर्चुनिटी है, स्कूल कॉम्प्लेक्स की है, ड्रॉप आउट रेट हमने देखा है आज खासतौर से सरकारी स्कूल में। और मैं बार बार कहूंगा जो हमारे सरकारी स्कूल हैं वो हमारी लाइफ लाइन है, क्योंकि हर कोई नहीं अच्छे स्कूल प्राइवेट स्कूल अफोर्ड कर सकता, पैसे वाले नहीं अफोर्ड कर सकता। और जो छोटे छोटे स्कूल बन गए हैं वो कितना क्या देंगे। स्कूलों में, सरकारी स्कूलों में हमारे बच्चे ज्यादा होने चाहिए, वहां टीचर भी क्वालिफाइड है लेकिन बच्चे नहीं। यहां सोशल वर्कर का बड़ा रोल हो सकता है। तो मैं समझता हूं एनईपी के तमाम क्रिटिसिज्म के बावजूद ये कुछ ऐसी चीजें हैं, मैं समझता हूं ये बड़ी अपॉर्चुनिटी हमारे पास है। आप सभी मैं रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा, बीइंग अ वेरी आवर लीडर ऑफ सोशल वर्क, बीइंग अ वेरी स्ट्रांग प्रोपोनेंट ऑफ सोशल वर्क एसोसिएशंस एंड ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, मुझे लगता है नेफ्सवी और ऐसी ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस को टेकअप करना चाहिए। और आज जो स्कूल कॉम्प्लेक्स और स्कूल के कॉन्टेक्स्ट में सोशल वर्कर का जो एनईपी में कहा गया है, हालांकि उसमें कई जगह ट्रेंड सोशल वर्क लफ्ज है, कभी सिर्फ सोशल वर्क लफ्ज है, मुझे लगता है हमें सीधे कहना चाहिए हमें प्रोफेशनल सोशल वर्कर्स की जरूरत है जिनका स्पेशलाइजेशन स्कूल सोशल वर्क में है। सोशल वर्क के स्कूलों को इस तरह के कोर्सेज फौरन शुरू करने चाहिए और स्पेशलाइज बनाना चाहिए, वर्कशॉप्स करनी चाहिए। वो अपॉर्चुनिटी हमें लेनी चाहिए। शायद वो अपॉर्चुनिटी अगर हम ले लें तो एक तो हम अपनी जगह समाज में बनाएंगे, दूसरा स्कूल सोशल वर्कर जब हम कहते हैं तो वो फिर स्कूल में महदूद नहीं हो जाता है। He is not restricted to school. He is linking school to the community.
Correct.
And when he will link to the community, it is not only about bringing children to the school. It is linking with their parents. It is linking with the community institutions. I think that will contribute to the overall community, reorganization, restructuring, and we can contribute to the development of that area also.
Yes, yes. I agree with you. I 100% agree with you, but I just will share with you. We have started a campaign, appoints school social worker in schools, and 2-3 years back. And when draft policy came, we reacted on that.
Yeah.
So earlier in draft policy, there was a word social worker,
Right.
but when main policy came, they did not like the word professional social worker, but they said trained and qualified social worker.
Right.
So we think that still opportunity is with us. I agree with you. And hopefully, the NAPSV and other associations will take note of it and we will make efforts. My last question to you, what message you would like to give to the students, to the faculties and to the schools? Quick 3 messages to 3 constituencies.
Yeah, to all the 3 constituencies, I would like to give one message. We need to be critical social worker. We need to develop critical consciousness in amongst ourselves. I'm too small to say that, but at least it is our duty to develop that critical consciousness in our students so that they should understand these concepts of social justice, diversity, and we also need to take up our own legacy. So like the legacy of reform movements, like the legacy of Bhimrao Ambedkar, Baba Saheb Bhimrao Ambedkar, because that lens is important. We need to also take into account what are the critical questions facing us. Like we need to take on the issues like caste head on. We need to take on issues, let's say, of communalism, of gender bias. We need to take these issues head on. Social work has to come up forefront on talking about this. Lastly, I give you simple one example from Israel. Now their social work associations, they are working, they are talking about, we know Israel, the Jews, they have faced worst form of oppression in form of genocide during the Hitler's Germany. But what they are doing in Palestine is an unfortunate reality. So their social workers are talking to senior, Jew community people and saying, we have witnessed that. Can we repeat the same? And their association is saying it is the duty of social workers to come up to the society and talk about these issues where society is failing. So I think as social worker, we need to talk about, like in our country, we have come up with the term like lynching. In 21st century, where we should have said Khuda Hafiz to all form of these kind of discrimination in form of caste, religion, gender and all. Now in our vocabulary, addition that is coming up is the terms like lynching and all that. I think we need to talk on that.
Yes, you are right, sir. So thank you, Professor Shahid. This would have been great if we would have continued to talk for longer period. We will be very happy once you visit once again to our studio for another discussion. But keeping the time constraint in mind, we have to put the break to this conversation. But this conversation has given opportunity to many issues and many conversations. So thank you very much.
Sir, thank you very much. Thanks from my side, my Department of Social Work and my university, Maulana Azad National Urdu University. Thank you very much.
Friends, keep writing to us. How do you like the episode? Join Social Work Herald and wait for the new episode in conversation with. Dear friends, I am really happy to bring to your kind notice that we have developed a website of Social Work Herald where you will find our all efforts. So this interactive website will be available to you very shortly, and you can visit our website. The website address is given here for your reference. Thank you very much. Namaskar.